Research found that most obese people who are lacking of this exercising and physical activity are most because of this lack of time barrier. So this lack of time barrier becomes the most common thing for among of us because we have a lot of work need to complete, we have a lot of assignment, we have a lot of reports need to complete. So today's video I'm going to talk about what is the suitable training program for you, like you are a busy person and in order to improve your overall health. As research found that HIIT, also known as high intensity interval training, which require an individual to work at high intensity exercise for a certain period of time followed by a low intensity exercise for recovery. So research found that HIIT is one of the most time efficient training methods for those individuals who find difficulty in their time based on their work life. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the benefits of HIIT training among these three populations, which is general population, sport population, and clinical population. So now let's talk about general population. As we all know that exercise brings a lot of health benefits, and research also found that HIIT can help improve one's body composition, reduce cardiovascular disease, and improve metabolic rate. How this HIIT training can actually help improve our body composition. Our body composition is something like we reduce our fat mass and improve our skeletal muscle mass. So as research found that there is improvement in our mitochondrial biogenesis and mitochondrial density, which in turn will improve our fat oxidation. So basically when we do HIIT training can actually improve our mitochondria. So this mitochondria is something like our power plant. So it provides a lot of energy, which is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. When we have the improvement of this ATP production, we are more likely to have a lot of energy expenditure and we are able to use this energy. And in doing so, the improvement of this mitochondrial biogenesis can help improve the fat oxidation. Because fat oxidation is very important because it can help improve the lipolysis, our lipid metabolism, which means that we are able to break down the fats that is being stored in our body and then we can use it as energy fuel. So in turn, we are able to burn the fats. Besides that, HIIT training can help improve your metabolic rate. So basically, if let's say you want to improve your metabolic rate, you need to improve your skeletal muscle mass, right? And then research also found that there is improvement in your skeletal muscle mass after several weeks of HIIT training. And then they found that it can help improve the total energy level of an individual, and also it can help improve the fat loss. So like I mentioned just now, because of the improvement of your mitochondria, which in turn will improve your fat oxidation. So this mitochondria is located at your skeletal muscle, so which in turn can help improve your energy expenditure and improve your fat oxidation. So at the end of the time, you will find that you improve your skeletal muscle mass and also reduce your fat mass. For most of the athletes, they found that they have difficulty in their time arrangement, like because most of the sport athletes, they're not like Olympic athletes, they just 24 hours they just focus in their training. But some of the competitive athletes, they still need to work. So when it comes to work life, we tend to like difficulty in time arrangement and time management, because we need to complete our tasks. So for this lack of time barrier is also not just commonly happen in general population but also happen in sport population as well. In sport training, HIIT not commonly used in sport training, but then in sport training they use something what we call high intensity specific interval training, which is HIIT. So in this video I will just use HIIT training. So this HIIT training is also similar to what we known as HIIT training, which means that there's a specific training pattern or specific training movement for the sport athletes. Because when it comes to sport competition, we need to be more specific for the athletes in order to condition them and then prepare them for the competition. According to the research found that this HIIT training able to improve tennis player performance by improving their explosive strength, deceleration, acceleration, change of direction, agility, and also aerobic capacity. So the training that conducted based on the specific training of this tennis player, so this is the reason why they call it as HIIT training. So they ask the player to run side by side from sideline to another sideline, and then to perform backhand stroke and also forehand stroke. So they ask the player to do this for a certain period of time and followed by a short recovery period, and then they just continue to do it. And then after several weeks of practice, they found that the player able to improve their performance from the side by side and also improve their explosive strength, agility, change of direction. Because when we need to run side by side, we need a lot of agility and change of direction, so that we are able to perform very well. Furthermore, research also found that the improvement of this aerobic capacity can also help improve the recovery rate between the sets or the play, and also improve the exercise economy in the tennis player. So the mechanism behind of this is because of the improvement of the mitochondrial biogenesis and also the improvement of your capillary density. So the improvement of the capillary density able to help improve the oxygen extraction in your muscles, because your mitochondria is located in your skeletal muscle. So this is where the time your mitochondria are able to extract the oxygen and improve the ATP production. So this is where the time you are able to improve your performance. But when it comes to recovery rates, when we play a longer rally in the court competition, we need to be able to recover after one stroke or after one play. So like for example, you play the tennis, okay? So you just run from a side and then perform a backhand stroke, and then you run to another side and perform a forehand stroke, and then this rally is sustained for about 1 minute. So you need to be able to sustain for a longer period of time. So this one study showed that there is improvement in the cardiac failure among the cardiac patient by conducting a clinical trial. So the result shows that the improvement of the contractility and the filling rate among the cardiac patient. So the mechanism of this contractility and the filling rate helps, why it can help improve the cardiac patient is because of the improvement of your cardiac muscles at your left ventricle. Furthermore, the molecular adaptation after HIIT training able to improve the insulin sensitivity level among the type 2 diabetes patient. The mechanism behind of this is because the improvement of your mitochondrial biogenesis. So mitochondrial biogenesis, which is located in your muscles, able to improve the GLUT4 content and improve the transportation of the glucose into your muscles, which in turn it will convert into glycogen and then store in your muscles for later use. Okay, so now we already know the benefits of this HIIT training among these three populations. Now we need to know how to implement it in our training program. Example of this whole training session is like for example, we start from the heart rate max. So you use 220 minus your age, which is maybe 20, and then you will find out your heart rate max, and then you use your heart rate max multiply by 0.85, which is your 85%, and then continue for 0.95, and then from there you will find out your target heart rate zone, which is 170 to 190 beat per minute. So which means that every time when you do your HIIT training, you will need to achieve this 170 to 190 beat per minute in order to consider as you achieving this high intensity level. One of the study, they found that heart rate measurement may not be so accurate when it comes to HIIT training, because you're only able to perform 20 to 30 seconds for this high intensity exercise, and then you just rest and then you continue again. So the research suggests that we need to use RPE scale instead of heart rate max measurement. So we need to use this box scale. So this research showed that by using the box RPE scale, which means that 17 out of 20 we consider it as high intensity, but I will just make it very simple. So 0 to 10 you need to achieve 7 and above in order to consider as high intensity. So like I mentioned just now, you can do it like 3 to 5 days per week, but you need to have alternate day, like you need to have in between of your session, you need to have a rest day. Like for example, Monday you perform HIIT training, and then Tuesday you rest, and then Wednesday you perform, Thursday you rest, and then continue. Any types of exercise you can do in this HIIT training, you can using this bodyweight training. Bodyweight training is very simple and then very convenient because you can do it anywhere, anytime. So bodyweight exercise is suitable for you to implement inside your HIIT training. And also you were able to using this plyometric or agility training. Plyometric training is something like you do box jump, squat jump, or vertical jump. But agility training is more towards on sport specific movement. So for example, the work rest ratio I use 1:1. So which means that I ask you go for sprinting. So sprinting is something like I ask you run as fast as possible, and then you run as fast as possible for 10 seconds, and then followed by 10 seconds of work rest, and then you do it for 30 sets, which means that the total duration is about 10 minutes. So at the end of the time, you found that you improve your sprinting performance and also improve your aerobic and anaerobic capacity. The duration can be 10 to 20 minutes, but you need to progressively overloading. So like for example, this week you just do 10 minutes, and then after several weeks of practice, maybe after 2 weeks, you progress to 12 minutes, 14 minutes, 16 minutes, and then until 20 minutes. So above example is for general population and sport population, but how about clinical population? So when it comes to clinical population, before we start any training program, we need to have a pre-assessment. So for this part is more clinical part, and then we need a specialist like a physiologist or any therapist to conduct the pre-assessment so that they are able to identify the low risk, moderate risk, or maybe high risk. And then from there, they are able to carefully design a suitable training program and prescribe the right exercise movement for the patient to do in order to avoid any adverse effect. So in conclusion, HIIT training can be one of the time-efficient training methods for individuals who feel that they are busy of their work or they feel busy in their study. So HIIT training can be one of the best way for them to improve their health and also their performance. So like I mentioned just now, HIIT training can promote a lot of health benefits in general population and clinical population, and can also improve the sport performance in sport population by improving their aerobic and anaerobic capacity and the power. So maybe after this video you can try it at home and then let me know in the comment. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys next week.